And welcome everyone to this Heartland Conference Baseball Championship, the 2012 rendition. Chad Peters joined by Joe Rodriguez here in the booth. Game one just about underway here between second-seeded St. Edward's University and the third-seed Newman University. Weather permitting, St. Mary's and Arkansas Fort Smith will follow later this afternoon at 5. We're over here at the University of the Incarnate Word, hosted by St. Mary's, but off campus because of some of the renovations being done to the home baseball field over at St. Mary's. Joe, should be an exciting tournament with a lot of talent to teams partaking.
Really should be. You look at some of the records on these teams, very impressive on the entire year. St. Edward's coming in at a overall record of 35-12, 26-9 in the Heartland Conference. Newman University also equally impressive, 27-21, while 20-16 overall in the conference. So two very impressive teams, and should be a great matchup here today.
An interesting thing with Newman, they're making their first ever Heartland Conference tournament appearance. St. Ed's, meanwhile, ranked 24th in the nation. So big expectations for the Hilltoppers coming down. Last year, they had a pretty good season, but nothing like the season they've put forth this year. They, in fact, split the regular season series with St. Mary's, which has been ranked as high as #1 in the nation this season. So St. Edward's coming in with plenty to play for, and perhaps the most to win and or lose in this entire tournament. Of course, if you're not familiar with the way the regional rankings work, those will be announced Sunday evening around 4 or so p.m. Sunday. All the information will go to the selection committee. They'll announce it at a selection show that evening. And the story with St. Ed's, they come in ranked 6th in the region. The top 8 teams go. If they win the tournament, the top 6 teams go, rather, and they are ranked in that last spot. So they come in with, if they win this tournament, they get the automatic bid. They have nothing to worry about. Mm-hmm. If they go far into the championship, let's say in fall, maybe that's enough to get in. But they have a lot to play for in that regard.
Really, not much to lose too, because as you mentioned, going up against #1 in the nation-ranked Rattlers, and really going up against a great team. So if they manage to knock off the Rattlers, then that's an automatic bid in. But if they play them tight, keep them close, also possible bid. Now the interesting thing about this format is it's a double elimination tournament here between these 4 teams. So if you lose this first game, that doesn't necessarily mean you're out. So Chad was talking about this earlier with David. What is the pitching strategies for these teams? Do you throw your first pitcher, or what have we seen in the past?
A lot of times teams will stay true to their rotation. They'll go with their #1 in game #1, go with their #2 in game #2, and so on and so forth. And really what these tournaments do is it's a battle of strength and just depth. And you go through a regular season, and of course teams play 3-game Heartland Conference series. So you see your top 3 guys facing off against conference foes. But then in that off game, a lot of times played on Tuesday, you go with your #4. You find out in these kinds of tournaments just how important it is to have a quality #4. Mm-hmm. In St. Mary's case, of course, you see the Rattler logo on the screen. We've been broadcasting Rattler games all season. It's Derek Muchigimba. Guys like that are going to have to be huge in this tournament, because it's a battle of attrition as you get further and further along, especially if it gets into an if game on the championship day, which you have a championship game scheduled. And in the championship game will be a team with 1 loss in the tournament and a team with no losses in the tournament. If the team that has not lost yet wins game 1, they're the champs. But if the team with 1 loss to their name takes game 1, a second if game takes place, and it's a winner-take-all there. So if you get that far into this tournament, you really see a deep pitching staff being necessary to get the Heartland Conference postseason championship.
So possibly, if let's get into a possible situation here. If St. Edward's was to somehow drop this first game, they would have to win their next 4 games. So that's 5 games that St. Edward's would have to play in the matter of 3 days, correct?
Yeah.
Which is incredible. I mean, they'd have to show their true depth. I mean, that's 5 games times 9. That's 45 innings. If anyone's ever played a doubleheader, it can really wear on you and tear on you.
Yeah, no doubt. And St. Ed's, they're pitching Rohrbach today. We'll get into the lineup a little deeper later on. But he's had success, we're told, against Newman this season. And it will be interesting to see if we see the flame-throwing closer, Steven Johnson. We've already seen some scouts in the building today. No doubt they're here to see him. Topped out at 102 miles per hour when they faced off against St. Mary's earlier this season. So that guy can throw the seams off the baseball. And if St. Ed's is in a closing situation late in the game, we no doubt will see him. He had a week earlier this year where he got 4 saves in the week, pitched, the final inning or two in 4 straight games, so the guy can flat out pitch. And St. Ed's hopes to get into a situation where they can put him on the mound.
Now, do you think most of these games they're going to be pitching duels because typically the better teams in the conference have the better pitchers, or do you think we're going to see some big bats come alive in this tournament?
I think the interesting thing is at St. Mary's, the wind typically blows in, and Wolf Stadium and then B.J. Keefe in the past has been very much pitchers' parks. This is a park, we're told, where the wind blows out. It's a much friendlier place to hit the ball. Also, the outfield is a little wider, more territory, as St. Mary's assistant coach Chris Hermes has talked to us about, more territory for balls to kind of go and bounce into the corners of the facility, extra base attempts for base runners. So with that in mind, we might see a little bit of a higher run output than we've seen at times at the St. Mary's home facilities. But of course, this is St. Mary's 4th home facility this year, so it's been an interesting year for the home away from home guys of St. Mary's.
And then another thing I really noticed now that I take a look at this ballpark, a lot of foul territory here compared to V.J. Keefe or Wolf Stadium, as we were talking about. Not quite as much as the Oakland facility, but still a lot of room to work with out here.
And I haven't been out there on the field to test it, with all the rain we've been getting, but of course this tournament was supposed to be played yesterday. This game was supposed to have gotten in this time yesterday. Rain delays wiped out yesterday. And here we are starting the tournament today. It'll wrap up Sunday now, starting at 11 o'clock with the championship game. The field, the good thing is it's been bright and sunny all day. Hopefully a lot of the rain has been able to dry out. I haven't really heard any concerns about the playing surface, but more bad weather is supposed to roll in perhaps today. 3 o'clock has been a time frame rolled around, and a lot of the weather services are saying in this area, we could be seeing scattered and isolated thunderstorms really from about 2 until maybe 6 or 7. So it'll be interesting to see if A, this game gets in, and then B, if the follow-up game between St. Mary's and Arkansas Fort Smith can get in.
Now, just to make sure, if this game were to be rained out, how many innings would have to be played for it to count?
My understanding is we have to get in all 9.
All 9?
Yeah, I do not think that there'll be any 5 or 7 inning shortened games with a victor. And that really, at the coaches meeting Wednesday night, that was the emphasis that all the coaches agreed upon. The last thing any of them wanted to do was start a game if there was obviously poor weather coming in, because look, frankly, none of these guys want to lose their pitchers. You don't want to burn your starting pitcher to have go 2 innings and then a rain delay comes in and the guy's done for the tournament. That's the last thing anyone wants to see, especially with so much at stake.
So more likely than not, the umpiring crew, they'll be a lot more lenient and allow these guys to play in some light showers, maybe even a little bit of rain. But of course, if thunderstorms come around, you're going to have to call it off.
And the University of Incarnate Word staff will have something to say about that too, since it's their facility. They don't want their field to be ruined. And Joe, let's get ready for some baseball.
All right. Ben Wagner's up first. He's the left fielder. Shows bunt on the first pitch, and it goes off behind the plate. Newman University, the Jets, they'll have Ben Wagner leading off. Following him will be the second baseman, Terrell Brown. After him, Tyler Hancock, the third baseman. In the cleanup hole will be the catcher, Ruben Moreno. After him will be Corey Cowan, David Longmore, Jordan Ohlenberger. After him will be Shannon Ingroff and Tanner Vincent. That pitch is tap foul. And the count is now 0-2.
And Wagner, having started 36 games this year, coming in with a .302 batting average, really one of the most proficient hitters on this team. 7 stolen bases as well, so when he gets on the base path, they certainly are not afraid to send him running.
Rohrbach comes from the stretch. Here's the pitch. Tap to third. Throw over to the first is in time, and the first runner is away. Jeff Rohrbach is on the mound for St. Edwards. He has an ERA of 3.2 on the year with a record of 5-3 in 12 starts. Thrown a total of 75 innings in those 12 starts. And in that span, he's struck out 32 while only walking 10. So he'll be looking to attack these batters here. As now Terrell Brown steps to the plate. First pitch, a little bit low and outside, ball 1.
Brown hitting at a .255 clip this season, 5 RBIs, 22 runs scored in his 46 hits.
That Pitch is in there, strike one. The count is now even at 1-1.
Newman, we talked about this being their first appearance. It's a good job by their head coach, Zane Ailing, in his first season with the team, leading them to their first ever appearance. Of course, this past year we saw, last year when St. Mary's hosted, it was St. Mary's, St. Ed's, but two different teams. It was A&M International and Permian Basin coming into the tournament. So the bottom of the conference, different powers starting to take over, and they're at the top.
As Brown hits that pitch off his foot, and the count is now 1-2. Here's the pitch from the windup, and just misses. Took a little bit off there, maybe a waste pitch there.
And the biggest thing Newman's had to overcome, for about 3 weeks they've been without their starting shortstop, Jared Flax. Took my understanding is a ground ball off the chin, and he's been done. And Newman's having to overcome one of their best batters, or the loss of one of their best batters.
Brown goes down looking there, second out.
Third baseman, Tyler Hancock.
As now Tyler Hancock will step to the plate. Good start for Jeff Rohrbach there. He's really seems to be nibbling on the corners, locating very well. Only missed on a couple of pitches so far. As here's the pitch. Bends it in there, but still just outside. 1-0 the count. That pitch is grounded out, foul on the first base side, and we're even at 1-1.
St. Ed's, coached by Rob Henders in his 6th season with the team, steadily has seen the team enjoy a steady rise over the years, as we talked about this being a season in which they've earned a national ranking. Seen them as high as 23, I think, and they're at 24 in the college baseball lineup poll at this point. No doubt a Coach of the Year candidate in the Heartland Conference. Of course, that honor did go to St. Mary's coach Charlie Meagle. 13th time in his career he has won that.
Very impressive for Charlie Meagle, who also had a career as a player at St. Mary's. As that pitch just misses as well, and the count is now 3-1 with 2 away. I apologize if you hear some wind in the mic. Just shows you how windy it is here, as that pitch is ripped into right field for the first hit of the ball game. So Hancock's on. They'll try to get a 2-out rally going here.
And no surprise, Hancock getting a hit there. That's his 55th of the year, second best on the team, upping his .314 batting average. So definitely one of the players to keep an eye on in this one.
Now the catcher, Ruben Moreo, steps to the plate. Moreo crushing the ball this season. He's batting .352. And during that time, he's hit in 36 runners, which is second on the team.
Yeah, Marrero just a beast to deal with. 6 home runs, like you said, tied for the team lead. Was also in the discussion for Gold Glove Award in the conference. Narrowly lost out on that one, but no doubt one of the top catchers here in the Heartland.
Check over to first. Back in time is Hancock. Rohrbach to the plate. That pitch is popped up, out of play. And the count is 0-1. That pop-up narrowly getting out of play. Once again, talking about the massive amount of foul territory on this field.
And St. Edward's ending their regular season pretty strong, although in the regular season finale they did drop surprisingly 3-1 to Texas A&M International, but prior to that they had winning streaks of 6 and 8, sandwiched by a pair of losses to St. Mary's. Of course, among that winning streak they also beat St. Mary's 6-3 on the road. So St. Edward's coming into the Heartland Conference tournament with a lot of momentum.
Pitch is just inside, 1-1 now the count.
And it's kind of been a different story for Newman. They won their regular season finale, but prior to that had dropped their previous 5.
How big of a role do you think the momentum of the season will carry into this? I mean, some of these guys haven't played in a while with finals and all that.
Yeah, it's been about a week, or if not longer, for many of these teams. I think St. Mary's has gone almost 11 days without a game. I think momentum is important from the standpoint of, we talked about injuries and Flax being gone for Newman. They've been playing, these last 8 games or so. With a new shortstop, you're trying to fit in players and pieces, get into a role going into the tournament. I think St. Edwards has kind of mastered that a little better. But, it's Newman with a player on first here right away in this game, so maybe the, momentum can swing rather quickly.
Moreo stays alive. Count will stay at 1-2 with 2 away here.
I'm still playing.
Yeah, I just started playing.
As Rohrbach will try to work his way around that 2-out single. Should Moreo reach, Cowan would be after. So here's the pitch. Grounder to short, over to second, and that's the inning. 1 hit, 1 left on base. No runs scored as St. Edwards will come to bat as we're heading to the bottom of the first. This is Rattler Baseball on Ustream Live.
So Res Live thought that we'd try to build some more morale in the halls, and well, we thought, why not use the Rowdy Rattlers?
1 more minute! 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 Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
We still have a few kinks to work out, but I like where we're going.
And welcome back, Heartland Conference fans. So we get ready for the bottom of the second inning. Batting now will be St. Edwards. Leading off will be Taylor Johnson, the second baseman, followed by Kyle Harris, the catcher. Then the first baseman, Adam Schenk, and then the designated hitter, Wes Koenig. The right fielder, Marshall Buford, will bat fifth, followed by Ransom Lalonda, Colin Elmore, and Nate Bobrowski and Bo Rogers will round out the lineup. Pitching for the Newman Jets will be Kyle Burkhart. Burkhart coming in with a 4.26 ERA. He's 7-4 on the year in his 12 starts.
You mentioned that name, Adam Schenk, the Heartland Conference Hitter of the Year is Schenk, and in fact, St. Edwards picking up 6 first-teamers on the All-Heartland team, leading the way, even beating the top-ranked team in the country, St. Mary's. St. Mary's with only 4 players on that first team. I was joking with Coach Meagle and Coach Ermis. They did one heck of a coaching job with some so-so talent this year. But that's for another subject, another time.
As Johnson has a 0-2 count to him quickly. As that pitch is fouled off and he stays alive. This St. Edward's team very formidable. As we mentioned, the 35-12 record on the season. And coming into this tournament, that pitch is high, trying to get him to chase. 1-2 now the count.
And Johnson, in fact, the cousin of our very own Robin Johnson, who will be joining the broadcast in a little bit. He's had a good year this season. Started for him last year, but really has broken out this year.
Played by the second baseman on to first in time. Nice job on the backhand there as Johnson is retired. And now Kyle Harris, the catcher, will come up now.
Yeah, Harris has started 38 of the 39 games he's played, batting .331 with 25 RBIs. He's hit 13 doubles. That's second best on the team.
And that's what I'll try to do here for St. Edward's. Try to get into scoring position as they look to strike first here.
One of 7 guys on their team with 25 or more RBIs on the season.
As here's the pitch, roped into left center field, and it'll fall in for a single. And the Hilltoppers have their first runner of the ball game. And now the before mentioned Shank now coming to the plate.
Yeah, Shank's had a monster year. It was really him and Billy Richard head-to-head for that Player of the Year title. He's batting .374, 39 runs scored, 36 RBIs, 6 home runs, and perhaps most impressively 20 doubles on the season. He's also stolen 4 bases. And a reminder to our fans, we will be announcing an all-tournament team upon the conclusion of this tournament. So feel free to hit us up on Twitter, drop us a note on Facebook, leave us your recommendations for who you think deserves to be on that team. We can be found at St. Mary's Rattlers on Twitter. It's all one word, no punctuation. And then Facebook.com/St. Mary's Rattlers, again, all one word and no punctuation. So feel free to kind of talk to us during the game. If you want any shout-outs to anyone, let us know.
Also, ask us any questions about who made the all-conference team, the Gold Glovers. We will go over those as best we can, as the count is now 2-0 here to Shank, the lefty. Kyle Burkhart working from the stretch. Here's the pitch outside, and the count is quickly 3-0.
And Burkhart, a righty there on the mound. The Hilltoppers this year 28-9 against right-handed pitchers, 7-3 against lefties. So pretty good no matter who they're facing.
So here's the pitch, and Shank works himself a 4-pitch walk. It's now runners on first and second, and
Designated hitter,
Wes Koenig now coming to the plate, the designated hitter.
And tied for the team high in RBIs with 39. Has 6 home runs. This really is a very good power hitting team. They have 35 home runs on the season. And we've seen since the college teams have switched to those BB Core bats, the home run numbers have dropped dramatically, but not for St. Ed's. By comparison, St. Mary's with 25 home runs coming into this tournament, and Newman with 21, and then Fort Smith, of course, with 18. So they lead all of the teams here in the tournament in long balls on the season.
As that first pitch catches the outside corner, 0-1 the count with 1 away. Runners leading from first and second. As here's the pitch. That one also catches the outside corner, 0-2 now. Koenig, a very patient and selective hitter also by the look of the statistics. He leads this team in walks. Also, compared to his walks, doesn't strike out much, 26-22. So here's the pitch. Just inside, and count is now 1-2.
And you might have heard the Newman fans in the background there wanting that one. They thought he might have gotten the edge of the plate for that strikeout.
Burkhardt has gone to his off-speed stuff to start caning off here. Hasn't thrown him a fastball yet. So here's the pitch. There's that fastball, and it's taken into left field fair. One run will come home. There'll be runners at second and third as Koenig has hit in the first run of the ball game. And a good start here for the Hilltoppers. Harris comes around to score. Schenk, he'll stop at third. Koenig moved up to second on the throw. And now Marshall Burford will be at the plate.
And not a guy you want to see at the plate if you're Newman. In this situation, 10 home runs on the season, 39 RBIs, 11 doubles, a .307 batting average. This guy hits the laces off the ball, and a big opportunity here for St. Ed's.
Bounces that first pitch foul, and the count is now 0-1.
This is the 7th time these two teams have faced off this season. Interestingly, Newman won the season series early in the year when they played at Newman. They lost game 1 4-1, but then took the next two games 3-1 and 2-0. But then got swept when they went, and actually that was at St. Ed's that they won the series. They got swept at home. Lost 7-3, 14-12, and 4-2. So it was St. Ed's winning the regular season series 4-2.
Do you think that plays into this at all? You think these teams are familiar with each other? They know how to play each other?
Yeah, I think from a matchup standpoint, it definitely tells you that St. Ed's matches up well with this team. Put up some good runs, and then most recently, having had the most success, with those games scoring 7, 14, and 4.
As that pitch manages to bend in there, and the count is now 0-2. Burford, as you mentioned, the only player in this tournament to enter the tournament in double digits with home runs. He has 10 on the year. Again, just the power of these Hilltoppers, as I think the person with the second most is Johnson, who has 8, so
yeah.
Also on the Hilltoppers.
And tied with Billy Richard from St. Mary's.
As here's the pitch. And got him looking, strike 3 called. As Burford has been retired and now 2 away with runners still on second and third.
Big strikeout there by Kyle Burkhardt.
Shortstop, Ransom Lalonde.
Ransom Lalonde, the shortstop, now coming to the plate, and really is a big strikeout because all that was needed there was a sacrifice fly, put another run on the board, but now with 2 outs, that won't get the job done.
Yeah, for Newman, it would be a minor victory here at this point if, with runners at second and third with 1 away, if they can come out of this inning only down 1-0, as there are now 2 outs after that strikeout.
So that first pitch is bounced in there, and the count is now 1-0. That pitch is chopped to short. Throw over to first is in time, and they do get out of the inning with only 1 run scored, as St. Edwards leads after 1 by a score of 1-0. This is Heartland Conference Baseball on Ustream Live.
Cowan.
And welcome back, Heartland Conference fans, as Cowan, Longmore, and Olenberger will lead off this inning. As here's the pitch. Strike one called. St. Edward's able to score there in the bottom of the first and now lead the game by a score of 1-0. As that pitch bounces out and count is now 1-1. Rohrbach back out there working for the windup. And that pitch is bended in there and the count is now 1-2. Good looking curveball there. That pitch is blooped into center field, and the Jets have a base runner now. Good piece of hitting there by Cowan as he's on, the leadoff man. And now David Longmore, the right fielder, will step in.
Second hit of the ball game for Newman. Both teams now with 2 hits apiece. The sun definitely out. The game started, our meteorologist telling us, was about 75 degrees at the start of the game. It felt hotter with the sun beating down, and we'll see what happens to the temperature as this thing goes on, if we have any rain interruptions. We're hoping not. We've had Scott Fonger up here doing the anti-rain dance, trying to keep that stuff away.
Very powerful dance indeed. As the bunt is laid down by Longmore, play at second is in time. Longmore safe at first. Great play there by Rohrbach as he prevents the runner from advancing into scoring position.
Yeah, just great awareness there on the mound to turn around and fire to second.
Good job by his teammates too, making sure that he knew that he had time, as now the Newman Jets basically swap base runners and one away with a runner on first here. So now Jordan Olenberger steps to the plate. Olenberger batting .347 this season. He's hit in 18 people with 18 RBIs, also worked himself 10 walks.
Ball? Yeah.
As that first pitch is in there and called ball one.
We were talking in the pregame about everything that St. Edward's is playing for in this tournament, and really at the end of the day, a victory for them in this tournament clinches them an automatic bid into the regional tournament. But if they don't win this, there's a very real chance that they could be left out of the regional tournament, even if they have a good showing and advance, deep into the championship game here. So they, not just the bragging rights for them, but a chance to move on. They want to put that in their hands and have not give anyone the ability to possibly take it away from them.
As that pitch is lifted out of play on the left field side. 1-1 now the count.
And it's something we'll talk more about as the tournament progresses, but one of the talking points kind of, in the press box and everything beforehand was St. Mary's, do they come in with the kind of fire that Coach Meagle would like them to have, or do they come in thinking, well, we're going to get into the regional tournament, we're going to be voted in even if we don't win this? And so I think that's something interesting when the Rattlers take the mound, but there's no doubt the Hilltoppers cannot have that any kind of lack of focus in this tournament. They're playing for the right to move on. And doing a pretty good job so far, up 1-0.
So that pitch is also fouled off, and 1-2 now the count. Another question is, will the Rattlers be able to run through this competition that they're having in this tournament like they seemingly have, the whole entire year? I mean, Rattlers very dominant, but St. Edward's and Newman University right now can't be thinking about the Rattlers. They have to worry about this game at hand. As that pitch is fouled off, and Olenberger stays alive at a 1-2 count.
Well, like you said, for Fort Smith, they went 1-5 against St. Mary's this year. Newman went 0-6. It was St. Edward's, though, that went 3-3. And I think that's the big matchup as we see a strikeout there that a lot of Heartland Conference fans might be hoping to see again.
Shortstop, Shannon Engroff.
Shannon Ingroff, the shortstop, now steps in. Ingroff on the year, batting .284. He's managed to hit 5 doubles and added 19 RBIs to that total. Has 2 away here, and Longmore still out there on first base. And there's the check over on him by Rohrbach.
The Newman uniform's pretty cool looking. They got their names on the back of the jerseys. Wearing the red with the blue caps as that one's lifted into shallow right field, and the ball is dropped. And a lost opportunity there, Joe, for Newman as the runner at second base did not advance to third base for whatever reason. And it keeps runners at first and second. That's going to go down as a hit. As we saw the second baseman trailing into the outfield trying to make that catch, and the right fielder moving upward, and neither one could bring it in.
Weird that we'd have some hesitation by Longmore there with 2 outs. You usually just put your head down and run as hard as you can. But missed opportunity as Tanner Vinson, the center fielder and number 9 hitter, comes to the plate. We'll see if he can make something happen, and if the Jets can cash in on this opportunity. Rohrbach looks in. He's working from the stretch. Checks second, comes to the plate. Off speed, and it's a little low, and the count is 1-0. That pitch manages to catch the plate. Count is now 1-1. Vincent on the season, batting .237. He has 4 home runs out of that number 9 spot and 32 RBIs. So still a dangerous hitter for these Jets. See, he fouls that one off and takes it out of play, and the count is now 1-2. Should Vincent reach, Ben Wagner would be next. As Rohrbach looks in, comes to the plate. Just outside in the dirt. Count is now 2-2 with 2 away.
And the winner of this game, Joe, will move on to face the winner of Game 2 at 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. The loser will drop into the loser's bracket and play the loser of Game 2 in an elimination game at noon tomorrow here at Sullivan Field.
We are on, as that pitch is chopped to short over a second in time. 3 ball games tomorrow, 2 today, as the Hilltoppers managed to get out of that jam. And this is Heartland Conference Baseball on Ustream Live, 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the second, and we'll be right back.
Where were they?
And welcome back, Heartland Conference fans, as we get set for the bottom of the second inning.
I appreciate that too.
The Hilltoppers leading off here as with Colin Elmore, followed by Nate Bobrowski and Bo Rogers.
Okay, right here? Yeah.
As Kyle Burkhart is back on the mound for the second inning. At first pitch, misses, ball one.
And it was a little bit of a lost opportunity there in the top half of the frame for the Newman bats. Again, to take you back to that play out in right field, the St. Ed's defense could not come down with a little blooper and shallow right. Left Newman with runners at first and second. You figured that the runner at second would continue running on to third, never did. And the following batter was out anyway for the inning ending out.
2-1 now the count. Jets missing a opportunity there to tie up the ball game. And Chad, do you think that that opportunity will hurt them? I mean, it seems like the really good baseball teams are usually always taking advantage of those opportunities, extra outs they're given, if you will.
It's still very early, but against a team like St. Ed's, you would think that lost opportunities throughout the game start to add up. And they're only down 1-0 at this point, but you saw how potent the St. Edward's batters were. There in the first inning, they themselves put runners at second and third with one away. And the early part of their batting lineup was just hitting the ball, really scattering hits throughout the field.
We saw a total of 6 batters in that first inning for St. Edward's. They were able to put up the 1 run. As we see the bottom 3 this inning and then back to the top after that. Count now even at 2-2 for Elmore here. As Kyle Burkhart now working exclusively from the stretch, and that ball is taken into center field for a leadoff single.
And I mean, you've really seen it top to bottom. There's a reason these guys have 6 players on the first team on the All Heartland Conference list, and it's because they can hit from top to bottom in their order, and they're just putting it where defenders aren't.
Bobrowski now coming to the plate. Bobrowski, the left fielder, he's batting .259 this season with 15 RBIs. Also worked 16 walks as compared to 12 strikeouts, as that first pitch is taken out behind us, and count is now 0-1.
Let me volleyball players to get one big foul ball. I'm going to go to the restroom.
I'm on the way to the restroom.
That's that job. They're shy balls.
Yeah. That was going to hurt.
We're starting to see the players for game 2 mingle into the complex here. Newman fans wanting to strike on that one. Said it's a 1-1 count for Bobrowski with no outs here in the bottom of the second.
Bunt shown, and it's popped up. Catch is made by a third baseman, and a failed attempt there at a bunt.
Yeah, not the best execution. We saw 2 bunt attempts there, and both popped up pretty high. One back up behind the backstop, and then that one right into the defender's glove.
As now coming to the plate will be Bo Rogers, the center fielder. Rogers batting .345 this year.
I'm sorry?
Total of 28 RBIs on the year, along with 5 doubles. As he's swinging on the first pitch and misses. 0-1 now the count.
And Joe, I'd say Bo knows baseball, but I don't know if that reference goes over your head. Are you too young to remember the Bo Jackson marketing campaign?
Joe knows.
Okay,
Bo
perfect,
knows.
perfect. Well, we've seen that campaign come back a little bit here with Nike taking over the NFL uniforms again. We're seeing the Dallas knows, New York knows as kind of a tie-in back to an era gone by.
Yeah. Not very often, well, we don't see that anymore with athletes playing in multiple sports.
No.
Almost saw it here at St. Mary's this year, but with I believe it was Renee Solis. Oh,
Sammy Rivas, yeah,
Sammy Rivas,
yeah, former
thank you.
baseball player trying out for the basketball team.
As 0-2 the count, and of course we had Bo Jackson, a multi-athlete in the past, along with Deion Sanders. As Bo goes down striking out there, and 2 away here now for the Newman Jets.
Was it also Brian Jordan? Was that the guy's name that played for the Braves there for a while? I believe went 2 ways.
I believe so. I know Deion Sanders. He played in a football game and then played in a baseball playoff game in the same day.
And I believe the story goes that he had a home run and then flew into the football game and had a touchdown on a return. You know, was within the, I don't know if it was the same day or the same week, but either way.
As that pitch is outside, and 1-1 now the count.
And St. Ed's had that leadoff hit here to start the inning, but 2 quick outs since. So Newman defensively holding strong here. We'll see if that can continue.
Second game is supposed to start.
Good job by the shortstop there on the throw to second. The throw by Marrero a little off target, but the new shortstop for Newman able to bring that one in.
And you were correct. Our historian looked up, and Deion Sanders indeed did hit a Major League home run and scored a touchdown in the same week. Only player, I believe, to do that.
We have it open because there's a nice breeze coming in.
And you almost feel like it's safe to say that it'll probably never be done again.
Oh, yeah.
This is your guys' food right here.
Athletes these days usually more focused on either one or the other,
Yeah.
baseball or football.
Much more specialized. And we are continuing to monitor the weather here in telecast.com, the official weather station of the Heartland Conference baseball tournament.
It's 2-2 the count, and manages to catch the outside corner as Johnson goes down looking. And that'll be the inning. Still 1-0 at the end of 2, 3 hits each, as this is Heartland Conference Baseball on Ustream Live. And welcome back, Heartland Conference fans, as that first pitch is thrown in there for a strike to Ben Wagner. 1-0 still our score here as we get underway in the top of the third. That pitch is smoked to third, gets past the glove of third baseman, and this will be extra bases.
Yeah, he's heading to second with an engine there. Nice leadoff double for Newman.
Ben Wagner in there easily standing up.
And you know, Joe, that discussion of Bo Jackson got us thinking in between innings about an old cartoon show with Wayne Gretzky, MJ, and Bo Jackson, and we looked it up, our crack staff looking that one up, and it was called Pro Stars. Interesting, it was a long-running show from the long time of September 14th to December 11th, 1991. So a nice few-month-long run there.
30-minute episodes. Something to tune into with your morning cartoons, I suppose.
Yep. Saturday morning cartoon on NBC.
Nike recently brought something similar back to that. We were discussing it as well. They had Kevin Durant, Bo Jackson, Charles Barkley, among a few others. I believe Alex Morgan, the soccer player from Team USA, was also in it. As that pitch is put in there, and 0-2 now the count to Terrell Brown.
Hey, Brown trying to capitalize here on the leadoff double Newman got. And Newman holding strong here. I think this is the interesting part, of this tournament, is so much pressure on one game. We were talking pregame about the different strategies teams might employ. Another thing to consider, and I hadn't thought about this until talking to our very own Carl O'Neill earlier in the year. Of course, he was the number 3 pitcher for St. Mary's last year, which meant he was regularly going 9 innings. This one dribbles down the left field line. Will it go foul? It does not. Joe, that thing just hung on the side of the third baseline. The catcher thought for sure that thing was rolling foul, but it did not. So a little, I don't know if you'd call that a bunt, or if that was just kind of a...
That was an excuse me.
Yeah.
But good for a base hit for Terrell Brown, and now runners on the corners here. You have to wonder if the weather somewhat affected that one, made it stick in the
you're right.
grass.
That's a good point.
Yep. As now Tyler Hancock, the number 3 hitter, now coming to the plate, with runners on first and third, looking to do some damage here. As he gets the signal from Zane Illing.
But to finish out that story, O'Neill was telling me how last year as the number 3, he'd regularly go 9, but as the number 1 now, he's only pitching 7-inning games. He actually felt like he had a little more, energy and just duration in his arm last year. And it is something, that's a different change of pace for all these aces for these teams that are usually maybe pitching 7-inning games on the front end of these 3-game Heartland Conference series. Where you come into this tournament, all of a sudden you're pitching 9. And you got to go a little bit longer.
So that first pitch is thrown in there, 0-1 the count. And it really is true. We talked about the possibility of 5 games in 3 days. I mean, it really, if you can, you definitely want to save your bullpen, and definitely gives these starting pitchers a chance to go longer and, go farther into ball games. 0-1 the count. Runners at the corners for Hancock. So that pitch is just outside the count. Is now 1-1. If the Jets wanted anybody at the plate to be Hancock, led this team in RBIs with 37, tied for home runs with 6. So here's the pitch. It's fouled back, and the count is now 1-2.
It's not a stretch to say this is a pretty big opportunity here for Hancock.
If you're Hancock and you're at the plate right now, what are you thinking?
I mean, I think you're hoping to hit one to the gap. Bring in a run, maybe an extra base hit. All of a sudden, it's a tie ball game. Runners at second and third with no outs. But at the very least, a sac fly or something of that sort. Just something to bring in that run at third base. You don't want the inning to keep going on and not capitalize on that runner.
The count is now 2-2, and to your point, we see St. Edwards. They're playing at a double play. Well, what looks like could be double play death. Their second baseman's playing way off the bag, but you think they'd trade 2 outs for a run here?
You might do it, but at the same time, they might very well be thinking about even more than that. And those St. Ed's bats can get hot in a hurry, so you might want to a few more runs than just one.
As that pitch is fouled off and Hancock stays alive, and count is 2-2.
We talked a lot about also momentum in the early parts of this game, and it seems like momentum's flown out the building just a little bit. I mean, all of a sudden these two teams find themselves in a tight ball game, and winning streaks and or losing streaks to close the regular season don't seem all that significant anymore. And I think that was kind of the point you were speaking to when the game started.
As that pitch is lifted, deep right center field. This should score the runner as Wagner comes around, tags up, and ties this ball game at 1 apiece.
Yeah, good hit by Hancock there. I gotta say, when that thing left the bat, I thought it was gone.
I thought so too.
I think the wind might have gotten that just a little bit.
Might have just gotten under it just a little bit, but nonetheless brings the runner in as now 1 away, and Brown's still there at first base, and Ruben Marrero, the leading batter for these Jets, at the plate. Marrero, the man Hancock is tied with in home runs for on this team. The catcher batting out of that 4th spot. As we now have a brand new ball game here in the top of the 3rd inning, Chad. So here's the pitch, off speed, taken into right field, but right at the right fielder. The catch is made, 2 away, and Brown will have to retreat back to first base. And now Corey Cowan, the first baseman, will come to the plate.
First baseman, Corey Cowan.
Jeff Rohrbach doing a little bit of damage management here, trying to limit the Jets to the 1 run here. Jets so far hitting Rohrbach pretty well though. 5 hits over the course of 2 2/3 innings. As Rohrbach checks back over to first on Brown, who's back in time, standing up. Brown 8 for 12 on the year in stolen bases. As he bluffs toward first, so that pitch is put in there. Strike 1, 0-1 the count. Should Cowan reach, David Longmore would be next. So here's the pitch. And that catches the outside corner. Strike 2 called.
And this Heartland Conference this year is so much better, so much more depth than we've seen in years past. Not only do you have 2 nationally ranked teams competing, but the 3rd and 4th teams, as Newman gets another hit here, are nothing to sneeze at, both with winning records, and that gets by the right fielder, Joe.
Interesting, again, by Brown, the base runner. He is running with the pitch, a single into right field. Usually you're immediately digging for 3rd, but stopped and slipped there at second base. He ends up at 3rd base anyway, and on the air, Cowan manages to advance to 2nd as he gets the single, but the runners move up a base on the air, and now David Longmore coming to the plate. Longmore, if you remember, had the base running error last inning, and now looking to make up for it.
And you gotta love the way Newman is hitting the ball today. 6 hits already, 3 innings into this game. Only 1 run so far to show for it. That would be the one bugaboo so far. The Jets hoping to change that a little bit here in the 3rd inning, but at the very least, they've tied the game back up.
Chad, do you think Brown could have scored on that last hit?
I think that would have been rough, probably, to come all the way over to score there. Of course, that fielding error gave it even a chance to think about that. But again, I mean, that just speaks to the depth we were talking about this conference has. Every team in the tournament with a winning record.
As Longmore manages to put one towards short, the throw over is not in time, and now the Jets lead by a score of 2-1. That one just a little bit too deep in the hole, and the Jets able to take advantage as they now have runners at the corners. Good effort there by Lalonda, but not able to make the play.
Jordan Olenberger.
So now Jordan Olenberger comes to the plate, the designated hitter. Olenberger on the year, batting .347, 2nd best for these Jets. Olenberger already with a hit and an RBI. As Rohrbach comes from the stretch, and here's the pitch. Put in there, strike 1.
And so we've already seen kind of the first plot twist of this tournament. We talked all about the momentum. St. Edwards with the Player of the Year, the 6 Heartland Conference first teamers, and the big winning streak there at the end of the year. And the national ranking suddenly down to the 3 seed. A team they had swept in their most recent showing, so I think that speaks So potentially what kind of tournament we could be looking at here over these next few days.
As 1-1 the count, check over to first. You see now Kyle Harris checking over to his dugout, getting the signs. I believe he was calling the game himself earlier, but now getting the signs from his coach. 2 away here. 1-1 the score, 2 runs scored so far in this inning. As here's the pitch, that ball is lifted into center field. And the catch is made, the side retired, but not before the Jets are able to score 2 more runs. 2-1 the score as we head to the bottom of the third. You're watching Heartland Conference Baseball on Ustream Live. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle Harris, the number 2 hitter and the catcher, leading off here in the bottom of the third. As strike 1 is thrown in there. Harris's Hilltoppers trailing now by a score of 2-1 after the Jets were able to score 2 runs there in the top of the third. As now they go and try to tie the ball game up. That pitch swung out and missed. Harris looked a little tied up there, and the count is now 0-2. Kyle Burkhart back out there, worked the first 2 innings, giving up 3 hits and 1 run. Has 3 strikeouts so far though, as that pitch is outside. He was nibbling at the corner there with the 0-2 count. Count is now 1-2. Chad mentioned last inning, see a couple of the Rattlers showing up so far for their game. Also some of the Arkansas Fort Smith players showing up. The Lions. That game will be at 5 o'clock. Right now we have the Newman University Jets and the St. Edwards University Hilltoppers. As Harris fouls that ball off, and the count remains at 2-2. Harris last time managed to get on base after his base hit, came around to score the run, the only run so far, and he rips another one into left field, a solid hit. Big turn at first base as he'll look over, and he's on with a leadoff single. And now it'll be Adam Shank, the first baseman. 36 RBIs on the season, batting .374 for 6 home runs. Number 3 hitter. Lefty steps in, and here's the pitch. So that pitch is lifted into center field. Center fielder settles under it, makes the catch, and Shank is retired on 1 pitch. 1 away now, and Harris retreats back to first.
Designated hitter, Wes Kane.
Wes Koenig now steps in. Koenig 1 for 1 on the day. He has the 1 RBI. As we are now joined at this time by our very own Robin Johnson. Robin, how are you doing?
Hey Joe, glad to be here. I was over on the other side for a bit, and now I am over here, but been watching the game since the start.
You have any impressions on the game so far? As that first pitch is outside, 1-0 the count.
Definitely heavier bats than I thought there would be. I wasn't really expecting this many hits from Newman. 7-4, I wasn't really expecting that, but they are swinging really well, and that error on St. Edwards kind of wasn't expecting that either, but I think it just shows that this conference is anybody's game here. I think we're going to see a good ball game today.
As that pitch is lifted out of play, and the count is now 1-1. So the wind really has appeared to pick up. Can see it blowing from right to left based on the nets we're looking at. And again, me and Chad were discussing this earlier. That's really conducive to a hitter's ballpark. If the wind's blowing out, our Rattlers, as we mentioned, usually the wind blows in, but as that pitch is outside, and 2-1 now the count.
I will say I was sitting down in the stands for a little bit. It feels a bit windier in this press box than it does down there. It's really humid outside today, and the ballpark's pretty deep, so if that wind does pick up, I think we will see some homers today.
As that pitch is fouled back, and 2-2 now the count. So you were mentioning a very deep ballpark, 335 to the poles, 390 to left center and right center, 405 to straightaway. As now Koenig has a 2-2 count on it.
Looking at the conference leaders, the conference selections, all conference selections, Koenig was one of the first team, I believe, been doing great all season as St. Edwards' designated hitter. Saw him when they played St. Mary's. He really knows how to swing the bat.
As 3-2 now the count. Koenig so far impressive. As before mentioned, the only RBI so far in the game for the Hilltoppers, as the number 2 seed find themselves down here so far. Runner takes off for the pitch, but it's fouled off, and we'll do 3-2 again. Now, Robin, I saw in our game day program, saw that you wrote an article in the very front fold of it. Can you fill us in on that article a little bit? Tell us about it.
Sure. Basically, this game right here determines who's going to be first in the losers bracket, and I think that St. Edwards is going to be the team, the most likely team that could upset St. Mary's. But if they fall to the losers bracket, they can still play St. Mary's, but basically it's about St. Mary's being the leader, and still saying that this conference, every team has to beat each other except Newman has not beat St. Mary's, and so it's really a fair game here in this tournament. And I think it's going to be an exciting tournament, considering that Newman has beat St. Edwards before, has the possibility to do it again today, and so it's really any man's game is basically what the story's about.
Now, do you like this format of the playoff system better, or do you think, or would you prefer like a series between the teams, like Newman and St. Edwards play a best of 3, St. Mary's, Fort Smith play a best of 3, and then those two move on to play each other? Or do you like the double elimination as this ball's lifted into deep right field and out of play?
I definitely like this double elimination, considering, sitting through a lot of series. They can really take a while. And I think that, with regional and the national tournament, it's set up 2 eliminations just so we can get all the games in, as that's the same format for regional and national. But I think it's different. It's definitely challenging, I think, for the teams to go from playing series to just, it's all on the line now. And so, I'm not really sure. I think I would say I like the 2 elimination better. What about you?
Well, another thing that, as this pitch is right back up the middle, the runner was going with the pitch, but play still in time, and the double play is turned. As the Jets get out of the inning, we'll get back to that point after this, as you're watching Heartland Conference Baseball on Ustream Live.
So Red's last thought that we try to build some more morale in the halls, and well, we thought, why not use the Rowdy Rattlers?
1 more minute. 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 Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
We still have a few kinks to work out, but I like where we're going.
And welcome back, Heartland Conference fans, as we are getting ready to start the top of the fourth.
Shortstop Shannon Ingroff.
For the Jets, leading off the top of the fourth, the shortstop Shannon Ingroff. After him will be Tanner Vinson, and then the leadoff hitter Ben Wagner. As the Jets last inning managed to score 2 runs and now lead the game by a score of 2-1. Back with me again, Robin Johnson, as we're here at Sullivan Field at the University of Incarnate Word. Once again, the St. Mary's Rattlers hosting this tournament are, I believe we said, 4th home away from home, as David Tovar would put it. As 0-2, quickly the count here for Shannon Ingroff. So that pitch is high and counts now 1-2.
And, you know, in that last play, that double play, quite a crowd here for Newman. It is a conference, but Wichita's a long way to drive down here. So they do have quite an impressive crowd out here, I would say, making a lot of noise.
As that pitch just misses, and 2-2 now the count. As you look at this Newman University roster, and actually a lot of people you know, from out of state. We see Kansas, Arkansas, a lot of Kansas actually, some Colorado, and even Hawaii, but I only see one player from Mansfield, Texas. That's Jared Freeman, the junior, as that pitch is taken to third base, thrown over to first, and in time. So unlikely that it's just family and friends here. It's actually, you know, Newman Jets fans. Maybe they brought a shuttle down from school or something.
Center fielder Tanner Vinson.
As now Tanner Vinson, the center fielder, steps in, and 1 away here.
Interesting thing about Tanner here, he's the only conference player to be 100% in stolen bases. He has 16 for 16, just 1 under Josh McElroy, or McElroy, on the Rattlers, who leads the conference with 17. So St. Edwards really needs to watch him. He will probably likely steal here pretty soon.
Left fielder Ben Wagner.
Was right on cue. Vincent gets on base, and now we get a chance to see him. And now Ben Wagner coming to the plate. Wagner 1 for 2 on the ball game, scored one of the 2 runs for the Jets as he managed to rope that double last inning. Benson out to a lead on first.
And as you were talking about the roster earlier, it doesn't seem like, I guess, again, trying to compare to St. Mary's, it seems like Newman doesn't have quite as many players. Now, St. Mary's has a lot, I think. But it seems like even compared to St. Edward's that Newman is missing, or not missing, but seems like you just don't have as many players on the team.
St. Mary's, of course, something that we've talked about over the years, their versatility and their depth that they have. They have 4 solid pitchers, as you and I were talking about earlier. If they manage to get all their way to the final game of the tournament, their 4th pitcher, Derek Muchigimba, obviously a very solid pitcher for the Rattlers. And
as we were talking about pitchers, I mean, kind of weird that you wouldn't have your starting pitcher, your number 1 pitcher, pitch the last game, but instead pitch the first game. It seems like you might switch that up. And I was talking to some St. Edward's folks down there, and actually St. Edward's leading pitcher, I believe his name is Tyler, he is hurt. So this is not their number 1 pitcher today. It's I believe their number 2, maybe just to fill in.
It's Jeff Rohrbach has responded so far, pitching all right so far.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, their lead pitcher is Tyler Harris, but out of the game today. I'm not sure if he's out for the whole tournament. We'll see if the other pitchers can step up, as that whole conversation was about. All your pitchers have to be good in order to win.
Because you have one pitcher pitch poorly in a game, then you're right there. You're in the losers bracket, and backs up against the walls. As the count is now 1-2 here, and runner goes, and that ball is ripped.
Oh wow!
Good.
Oh, and he dropped it. That was going to be a nice grab there.
I believe they called the out.
Oh.
And it'll be a double play. Third base umpire very lenient there, and just like the Hilltoppers were able to end the inning with a double play, just like the Jets were able, the Hilltoppers do the same. Sides retired. We head to the bottom of the 4th on an interesting double play, and this is Heartland Conference Baseball on Ustream Live.
So Res Live thought that we'd try to build some more morale in the halls, and we thought, why not use the Rowdy Rattlers?
1 more minute, 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 1 more minute. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
We still have a few kinks to work out. So we all know times are tough nowadays, but it's gotten pretty bad. Even Rattlerman had to live on campus.
And welcome back, Heartland Conference fans, as we get ready here for the bottom of the 4th. Another interesting double play to in the top of the 4th, as now number 44, Marshall Burford, will step in. He'll be followed by Lalonda and Colin Elmore here in the bottom of the 4th inning. That first pitch is thrown in there, strike 1.
Marshall here led the conference in home runs with 10. A really powerful hitter, 307 batting average. Arguably should have been made all conference first team or second team. Wasn't selected for either, but nonetheless a really powerful hitter here. 39 RBIs.
Tied for best on the team. As that pitch is outside, and the count is now 2-1.
However, he did make that error out there earlier in the game. I believe that was the second or third inning, but proved not to be too detrimental.
As that pitch is fouled off and hit the catcher. As Ruben Moreo a little bit shaken up, the umpire goes out and talks to the pitcher to give him a little bit of time to walk it off.
Looks like he might have clipped his hand. He took his glove off. I'm wondering if looks like he might have hurt his right hand there.
Well, umpire, everyone giving him a brief time to regroup. One of the better relationships you see in sports between an umpire and players, between the catcher and home plate umpire. You see if a home plate umpire gets hit, the catcher immediately goes out, talks to the pitcher, vice versa. You know, just really a interesting thing that baseball features not many other sports do.
Yeah, I've always thought that as well. I mean, you know, they spend almost the whole game together. Just, you know, just quite interesting dynamic there.
Always talking to each other and such, asking about pitches and where they were located and such. So that pitch is fouled off, and 2-2 now the count. Plus the umpire, a lot of trust in those catchers that they'll catch everything and won't let them get hit and just bail out on them. So that pitch way outside, and the count is now 3-2, I believe. As here's the pitch. Strike 3 swinging as first out is recorded here. And now Ransom Lalonda will step to the plate. Lalonda 0 for 1 on the day, as he'll take his swings with one away here. Lalonda batting just under 300 at 291 on the year. So that pitch is outside, and 1-0 now the count. As you were mentioning earlier, it seems this crowd is mostly pro Jets. Not so sure.
I think on the left there's a whole little balcony that's or little canopy area. I think that's full of St. Edward's fans. St. Edward's not too far away.
Austin.
Actually, my cousin is on the team, and I was talking to him, and I said, you know, I thought you guys were already down here, and they said that they came down here yesterday, but then drove back to Austin, which is, I thought, pretty weird why they didn't just stay here.
That is true.
But they took the road trip back and took another one this morning.
As previously mentioned, this tournament was scheduled to officially get underway yesterday, I do believe, but because of the weather issues. As that pitch is just inside, and the count is now 3-1.
And I think everyone was kind of questioning what the field was going to look like, and the field looks pretty good. It's almost like, you know, it didn't rain, which is a weird Texas thing.
Yep. As the walk is drawn by Lalonda, and he'll be on base with one away here, and Colin Elmore coming to the plate. Weather, another thing so far this season that has plagued our baseball season. I remember season was delayed for the Rattler baseball team as they had to deal with the weather issues. Still were able to get in a lot of the games because Wolf Stadium being so nice, but still weather seems to be a big issue that we've been dealing with all year.
And I think that goes not only in Texas, but I do know that I'm sure the fans have noticed that the total number of games is off by one between St. Mary's and St. Edward's, and that's because one of St. Edward's games were canceled in Fort Smith, Arkansas. So it seems like to be affecting the entire conference, as the weather can do.
As that pitch is fouled off, and the count is now 0-2. I remember earlier in the year, I don't remember the exact team, but the Rattlers, they were playing a team, and the Rattlers had played a total of 10 or 11 games, but the other team, they'd only played 2 games, and they had a 14-day layoff because of the weather. As that pitch is smoked up the middle, runners will hold at first and second, as now the Hilltoppers have a rally going with one away here.
That was a nice slice there. Almost caught by the pitcher. You got to think, you know, I mean, pitchers, even if they throw in the 80s, I mean, how hard that ball is coming off the bat, you know, and how hard it must feel for a catcher if they do catch it. But, you know, the reaction time has to be so quick, you know, for pitchers to make grabs like that.
Another advantage of the recent bat changes, because I believe what it was if a pitch came off a pitcher's hand at 90 miles per hour, it could potentially go back at them at somewhere around 120, which, you know,
quite lethal, really. Hit you in the head.
It's really difficult to, you know, hit a 90 mile per hour fastball because your reaction time is so small. I think 3 or 4 tenths of a second is what you have, but to have it going right back at you when you're already going through your follow through, which could be, you know, carrying you into a position where you're not ready to field. It's more dangerous, and of course pitchers don't have the benefit of wearing a helmet. As number 17, Nate Bobrowski, steps in. 2-0 the count to him.
Just making sure everybody's doing their job in here.
How's it going, Handy Dan?
As Kyle Burkhart looking to get out of this jam. That pitch is fouled off, and 2-1 now the count. Burkhart so far giving up 4 runs. The 4 hits, the 1 run, and you know, struck out 4 while walking 2. That's 2-1 now the count.
And again, going back to, you know, the pitchers conversation, it's really gonna, you know, the pitchers are under a lot of pressure to pitch as many innings as they can. Well, I mean, if a pitcher gets taken out earlier than expected, maybe in the 4th or 3rd, even the 5th inning in a 9-inning games, you know, you really got to start going through that rotation that you're trying to save, you know, for the entire tournament. So it really seems, you know, tournaments like these, it's a pitcher's game as well as the bat game.
That's something that we'll see usually out of the you know, the Rattlers bullpen. We'll see Bumpus from time to time. We'll see who else? We'll see Perez, obviously, Rick Villa. Do you think the Rattlers will go even deeper into their bullpen than they're used to, or even any of these other teams? If it gets to a point of that, you know, a pitcher has to be taken out in the 4th, 5th inning, as you hear the fans react. They wanted that strike 3 called.
I think it's going to be really interesting. I mean, seeing how Newman already has 8 hits. I mean, that's 2 hits an inning. That's kind of a lot, I would say. But I think maybe we might see pitchers being left in longer than they might originally, you know, in a regular season game. But you know, this is my first college tournament, and so kind of interesting to see how the rotation works here.
As that pitch is flied out to center field, 2 away now, and Newman Jets 1 out away from getting out of this predicament. As now the center fielder Bo Rogers is coming to the plate, the number 9 hitter. Rogers 0 for 1 so far in the ball game.
I think also it's going to be interesting. You know, a lot of the number 1 pitchers are used to pitching 7-inning games. As you know, in the regular season, number 1 pitchers pitch 7-inning games, and now each pitcher is going to have to pitch 9, or, you know, go longer than usual. I think that's going to be also interesting for number 1 pitchers like Newman's pitcher out there and St. Edwards to kind of face, you know, those extra inning games that they don't normally face in the regular season.
As that first pitch is thrown in there for strike 1, the second pitch ball 1, so 1-1 the count. Also, another interesting thing will be how the closers are managed. Like Steven Johnson, we mentioned earlier, the flamethrower. Will he pitch twice on one day? Will he have to pitch twice on one day? And then even sometimes what you see is those closers, sometimes they're extended instead of, you know, just coming in for the last 3 outs. They'll come in and they'll get 4, 5, 6 outs, pitch maybe 2 innings.
Yeah, and you know, we actually saw that with the last matchup with St. Mary's and St. Edwards, that marathon 14-inning game where our closer, Perez, had to pitch 3 innings, which is quite uncommon for a closer. As you know, they wanted him to close out, but the game just kept going, and that was also the same for Stephen Johnson. That game had to pitch extra innings as well.
2-2 now the count, 2 away. Can hear the Jets faithful cheering on Kyle Burkhart. So here's the pitch. Outside, and the count goes full.
Stephen Johnson was rightfully a first team all-conference selection. Scouts often, and the stands for him is throwing those upper 90s.
Me and Chad were talking earlier, and apparently he clocked in a couple of days ago at 102.
Yeah, really hard to hit that, I would say.
Yeah.
And just looking at the stats, he's a closer, you know, doesn't see as many batters, but he has 47 strikeouts, and I think in about 33 innings. It's quite a monster number.
Let's see.
63 strikeouts. Wow, I must have been looking at a week ago.
As that pitch is thrown in there, and the Jets managed to get out of the inning. 2-1 still the score, as we're heading into the bottom of the top of the 5th. Jets still lead by a score of 2-1. This is Heartland Conference Baseball on Ustream Live. And welcome back, Heartland Conference fans, as we get ready to start the top of the 5th inning. Leading off for the Newman University Jets is second baseman Terrell Brown. Brown, as you remember, in the top of the 3rd inning, managed to get on base, came around and scored, and was the leading run, as the Jets now lead by a score of 2-1. First pitch, ball 1. On the windup, there's the pitch, lined into center field, and it'll fall. This one gets behind the center fielder and should be extra bases. Turning second, digging for third. He's in there, here's the throw, slides, and he's in there just in time. As he gives the claw and ducks on the pond to his teammates in the dugout, as Terrell Brown has himself a leadoff triple.
Can't get any better than, you know, a leadoff triple, you know, excellent running, excellent position for a run here. 0 outs.
As now Tyler Hancock comes to the plate, very dangerous hitter. Brown the whole way, I think, was looking for 3 as soon as he saw it, got behind the center fielder.
And even here too, you might see a sacrifice fly. 0 outs would be, you know, perfect timing. Even better, a base hit, which he does. It'll bring in another run for the Jets. They lead it now 3-1.
As with the infield playing in, Hancock was able to blast up one in between the first and second baseman. As A run is quickly manufactured. As now a pitching coach has come out and is talking to Jeff Rohrback.
It's definitely been a test today as their starting pitcher Tyler Harris is injured. I'm not sure if he's out, probably for the tournament here. Maybe plaguing St. Edwards a bit.
As now Ruben Moreo comes to the plate. The runner on first base.
Looks like that would have been a steal there. Got back just in time.
What's the call first? Was it ball?
Yeah.
As Moreo with 36 RBIs on the season, batting .352, the 6 home runs. 0 for 2 so far in today's ball game. As here's the pitch, and he lifts this one to shallow left. Shortstop out, makes the play, and 1 out. And now Corey Cowan, the first baseman, will step in. Cowan 2 for 2 so far on the ball game. Moreo and Jordan Owenberger, the only 2 Newman Jets to not get a hit so far today.
Yeah, 10 hits for today. Big numbers here, and it's only the top of the 5th. Still got 4 more innings left to go. Again, wondering when we're going to see a pitching change. Maybe we might see Steven Johnson out there earlier. Maybe try to make him last longer.
As they throw down to second.
It's clearly out there.
And like you were talking about earlier, just the Jets staying on pace, getting those 2 hits an inning like you were talking about. Just really taxing so far this Jeff Rohrback.
They got St. Edwards seems to get a break there on that out. Looks like the catcher anticipated that steal. He was out by a mile, as they would say.
Looked like Hancock chose a bad pitch to go on. Maybe was expecting off speed, and now that pitch grounded to short. Throw over to first is in time. But the Newman Jets managed to tack on another run. They now lead by a score of 3-1 as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Jets lead 3-1. This is Heartland Conference Baseball on Ustream Live.
Catch the ball.
You don't want to.
Watch the Rattlers live on Ustream. Catch the ball.
You don't want to.
Watch the Rattlers live on Ustream. Catch the ball.
You don't want to.
Watch the Rattlers live on
And welcome back, Heartland Conference fans. Leading off here in the 2nd inning, Taylor Johnson.
Also a first-team all-conference selection.
As he swings to that first pitch, strike 1.
Struck out in his last at-bat.
That pitch low and away, and Taylor Johnson now with a 1-1 count. Robin, as we before mentioned, Taylor Johnson, your cousin.
Yes, sir.
Growing up, did you two have close contact with each other?
Yeah, we were really close. He was always very into baseball. His dad, my uncle, was a pitcher at Sam Houston State, so baseball definitely runs in the family. As they say, he's not quite the tallest, but he packs a lot of power. Is second in the conference for home runs with 8. Something you wouldn't really expect from a 5'7" guy.
As count is now 2-2 here for Johnson, as Kyle Burkhart back out there. Working now pretty much exclusively from the stretch instead of the windup. That pitch inside almost clipped Johnson. 3-2 now the count.
Newman fans seem to like that one as a strike, though it seemed a bit inside.
Yeah.
This way I always get when we don't.
I thought it might have hit him when I first saw it, but
So much harder to watch.
so here's the pitch, and Johnson fouls this one off. Manages to stay alive, spoils a good pitch.
The interesting player bats left, throws right. I don't understand how that ever happens, but I don't think it's too common. Probably more common than switch hitters. I don't think I've seen a switch hitter this season in any team.
So that pitch high and outside, and Johnson works himself a leadoff walk. Trying to get something going for the Hilltoppers here. Did he bat lefty his whole life, or just something he recently learned?
He batted left his whole life. My uncle's left-handed, so I don't know how he got to throwing with his right hand, but definitely a left-handed hitter.
It's now number 6. Kyle Harris steps in. Strike 1 there. 0-1 the count.
Definitely starting to feel, you know, when the wind stops blowing, it's definitely extremely humid out there. As I believe it is slated to rain.
Yep. And the sun manages to poke out every now and then. You do see some clouds here as that ball is lifted, and right in front of us, as so you could probably hear it, it's 0-2 now.
Fully anticipated that one coming through one of their nose. Yeah, right over there.
Kyle Harris batting .331 on the year, also with 25 RBIs. Johnson out to a pretty good lead off the first, but not going on that pitch. 1-2 the count.
Johnson, too, also has speed, 14 stolen bases out of 16 attempts. One to watch for the Jets.
As that pitch is fouled off, and 1-2 the count. And you can really see Kyle Harris choking up on the bat there. He has at least a full inch in between the knob of the bat and his bottom hand there.
And it always seems like that grip would hit, you know, the part of the bat that hurts your hand, that, you know, vibrates instead of hitting that sweet spot.
And a swing and a miss there, and Harris goes down for the first out of the inning. So now number 25, first baseman Adam Schenk steps to the plate, the 6-foot senior.
This year's Heartland Conference Player of the Year here for St. Edwards and the conference. Leads it in doubles with 20. Quite an impressive number there. And leads the conference in batting average with .374. So, I mean, the player you want to have at the plate for St. Edwards to get back in this game with a man on first.
Also, some pretty good power numbers in there, the 6 home runs, but extra bases here with the speed of Johnson probably would lead to a run. So that ball is lifted into right field, and center fielder calls him off, makes the play. Johnson retreats back to first, and 2 away.
That's a high pop up there.
Designated hitter, Wes Koenig.
As now Wes Koenig, the designated hitter, steps in.
Oh,
3-1 still the ball game here as we're in the bottom of the 5th. After giving up that run in the bottom of the 1st inning, Kyle Burkhart really seems to have settled down and established himself as that first pitch is thrown in there, ball 1.
St. Edwards started with a leadoff walk. That one is popped high. I think that one
Off the wall in right center.
Johnson will score.
As the score is now 3-2. That ball was, as you put it, popped. A lot of big charge in that ball, and now the score 3-2 in favor of the Newman Jets.
Fielder, Marshall Burford.
As the double off the wall gives him the run. And Marshall Burford now steps to the plate. Koenig, the designated hitter, doing his job, and now Burford steps in. Also another batter batting over 300 this year. So here's the pitch. And a tie. Ball 1. That pitch catches the outside corner, 1-1 now the count.
Generous on that one.
Yes. A lot generous.
It's now Kyle Burford going over to talk to Rob Penders, the head coach. Penders in his 6th year with these Hilltoppers. A Coach of the Year candidate, as we discussed earlier, but that honor went to Charlie Meagle, the head coach for the St. Mary University Rattlers.
Yeah, you know, talking about St. Edwards last year, I think they were just above a 500 team. And now they're very far from that. So I think definitely he was a good candidate this year for Coach of the Year, really turning his team around to be ranked nationally for the first time. I'm not sure all of St. Edwards' records, but first time in recent times, maybe in program history.
They managed to get as high as number 23 in the nation. The team ranked around 6th right now in the region, so looking to fight their way in. As that outside corner is again given by the home plate umpire, and the count is now 2-2 with 2 away. It's now Burkhart looking to end this inning.
Got a runner on second. Caught possibly the tying run here. Strikes out. Damn the inning, but St. Edwards does get a run on. Score now 3-2. We'll be right back with you here on Conference Tournament. Right here on Ustream Live.
For the Jets, right fielder, David Longmore.
And welcome back, Heartland Conference fans, as we get ready to start the top of the 6th. Leading off this inning will be David Longmore. So he takes the first pitch, pops it into shallow center field. The catch is made, and Longmore is retired on 1 pitch.
Designated hitter,
Almost into the stretch here for the first game of this Heartland Conference tournament. A good game so far, 3-2.
As now Jordan Olenberger, the catcher, steps in. That pitch thrown in there, and count is now 1-1 with 1 away. Olenberger, as before mentioned, batting .347 on the year. So he takes that inside pitch and pulls it. The center fielder able to make the catch, and Olenberger is retired.
Considering St. Edward's pitcher has given up 10 hits so far, 3 runs. A quick inning here, 3 up, 3 down. It'll be quite ideal here for the Hilltoppers, as they were able to score last inning.
Yep. Jeff Rohrback trying to do just that, get the bats back in the lineup, back in the dugout, I should say, and get himself rolling here, get something going. So here's the pitch, inside corner called strike 1. It's number 25, Shannon Ingroff, is at the plate.
Where's my boss man at?
What?
Where's my boss man at?
Right here?
Rohrback from the windup. Here's the pitch.
You want to be my boss.
I don't want to be your boss.
Just outside of the zone. The count is now 1-1.
Whatever. You want to be able to handle this right here. Jason, you notice his hair started to turn gray.
1-1 the count with 2 away. So here's the pitch. It's popped up, foul, and out of play. Count is 1-2, and like you were saying, Rohrback now just 1 pitch away from that quick 1-2-3 inning. Shannon Ingroff managed to reach. Daniels would be next. Here's a soft roller over to second, thrown in time, and the side is retired. 1-2-3 they go, as now the Hilltoppers will go back to batting down 3-2 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. You're watching Heartland Conference Baseball on Ustream Live.
Off the 6th for the Hilltoppers.
And welcome back, Heartland Conference fans, as we get ready for the bottom of the 6th inning. Leading off here for the Hilltoppers, Ransom Lalonda. Hilltoppers trail by a score of 3-2 here as they try to add another run. And Lalonda off to a good start. Diving attempt in center field, but it gets behind the center fielder. This will be extra bases.
Looks like it's going to be another leadoff triple here. And it is a stand-up triple for St. Edwards. Right back in this game here.
Good effort there by the center fielder, but missed the dive. Robin, you think he should have dove for that ball, or do you think he should have played it safe?
I almost feel like he was pretty close, I think, but
No, I thought he might have. I thought I would kind of hit.
but I don't know. I think if the right fielder maybe would have been quicker at backing him up, maybe it wouldn't have been a triple. But you know, I say always go for it, always dive. What do you think?
They say hindsight's 20/20, but
yeah.
I mean, it was good effort out there, but if he had taken like the wider route and just let it bounce and taken it on and bounce, then
it might have been just a single.
Yeah, it's a possibility, but the one-run lead, the risk was taken, and Lalonda now on third, and Colin Elmore at the plate, chance to tie this ball game with a sac fly. Following him will be Nate Borowski, as the Hilltoppers still very much in this game.
You know, I think that in a lot of these games it's going to come down to the wire. And it's going to be dependent on some clutch plays, clutch hitters, and clutch pitchers. I think we're starting to see that here from St. Edwards. Have really sparked here the last few innings.
Especially as we get farther and farther into the ball game. I mean, we're in the latter half of the ball game right now, as that first pitch is thrown in there, strike one, and Hilltoppers now with a golden opportunity. Grounder to second base.
Oh, bobbled. Does get the out, but the run does score.
Good job by hitting there. Looks like the Jets were playing back on the infield instead of playing in to prevent the run, and we now have a tied ball game at 3-3.
And just like that, St. Edwards is back in this game.
Left fielder Nate Bobrowski.
Like you mentioned, the last half inning, they scored the one run, get the 1-2-3 inning, score another run. Bit of a hot streak right now for the Hilltoppers. As Bobowski takes this one into left field, it will fall, and he'll be digging for second, and in there sliding with a double. As now the number 9 hitter, Bo Rogers, will step to the plate.
Center fielder Bo Rogers.
A very high batting average, .345.
Played in a total of 40 games this year, started in 35 of them.
St. Edwards in a very good position here to take the lead, 1 out. A man on second here.
As we see some pitchers start getting ready in the St. Edwards bullpen, possible pitching change, same going on in the Newman University Jets bullpen as well. So that first pitch is thrown in there for strike one. Fastball just outside. Oh.
Nice grab by the catcher.
1-1 the count. You can see the Arkansas Fort Smith Lions sitting in the dugout over there on the first base side. I believe the St. Mary's Rattlers are taking batting practice, as you can hear the ping of the bat. Time called, so that pitch won't count. The count is still 1-1 with one away here. Hilltoppers still threatening here in the bottom of the sixth. So here's the pitch. just a bit high, and the count is now 2-1.
Bit of a check swing, but he pulled his bat back.
Good discipline there by Bo. Time called again. As Bo Rogers now digs in, count 2-1. That runner on second base. So here's the pitch. Outside again. The count is now 3-1.
Still one out here.
So you can see the Hilltoppers players all up on their feet on their dugout, all into it. Newman Jets, meanwhile, quiet. That's a change of momentum here. That pitch outside, and Bo Rogers works the walk-off. And now coming to the plate, Taylor Johnson.
Second baseman, Taylor Johnson.
And I think here's the long talked about pitching change we've been talking about all game.
Second mound visit this inning. As that'll do it for Kyle Burkhart. And coming in to pitch now will be Colin Rupp. We'll have more on him when we get back. This is Heartland Conference Baseball on Ustream Live. And